Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through the noise, really examining a source stack that promises something huge. We're talking about potentially revolutionizing how we even think about creating communities online. You know, for decades, if you wanted to build your own digital space, something specific, something purpose-driven, well, it was a nightmare.
Oh, absolutely. A technical gauntlet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Complex coding, yeah. Exorbitant costs, constant server headaches, and you were always dependent on the big tech giants.
Living under their rules, their algorithms.
You're basically a tenant, right? Never really the owner. Facing months of planning, RFPs, developers, expensive infrastructure, just this constant low-level anxiety.
And the terms could change overnight. Your whole community's foundation could shift.
But the sources we're looking at today detail a pretty radical break from all that. We're diving deep into what they're calling the community revolution, powered by Linkspreed Web4. Our mission here is pretty focused. We want to analyze how the actual engineering, the foundation of building these digital communities, might have been totally re-architected.
Yeah, collapsing the timeline. That's the kicker.
From months, maybe weeks, if you were lucky, down to 30 seconds. That's the claim. Almost hard to believe.
And that time frame, that 30 seconds, it's why we have to look closely. This isn't just a faster tool, is it?
That doesn't sound like it.
No. The sources position it as a fundamental paradigm shift, an architectural change. If this is accurate, it means the technical barrier to building a global community has just vanished.
Turning anyone, an entrepreneur, a niche leader, whoever, into the architect instantly.
Right. But the big question we have to dissect is, okay, what's the trade-off for that speed? If you really can build a scalable social network with just one AI prompt in 30 seconds, what are you giving up?
Or have they somehow figured out how to deliver both? Incredible speed and genuine ownership.
That's the core of it. What does this mean for, digital sovereignty, for actually owning your space online in the 21st century? Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start right there. That claim, the 30-second guarantee. Our sources are emphatic. The era of dependency, of technical complexity, it's over.
A bold statement.
It is. Historically, launching even a moderately complex platform, you were looking at fiscal quarters, right?
Yeah.
Months tied up in security, back-end stuff, databases, design.
Just the planning phase could take forever.
And now, 30 seconds. I mean, that's the time it takes for a credit card payment to go through, not to spin up a global infrastructure.
It implies some serious automation, a deterministic engine working incredibly fast.
So how does this speed actually change things for someone wanting to start a community?
Well, it fundamentally changes the risk profile. If you're an entrepreneur, think about it. The time and money you normally sink into just proving the technical concept.
Gone.
Essentially, yes. The cost of technical failure drops almost to zero. Your vision can become reality almost instantly.
So you can test ideas much faster.
Exactly. Hyper-accelerated iteration. Instead of a 6-month dev cycle, you could launch, see if it works, tweak the prompt, and relaunch a structurally different platform in minutes.
Okay, that's a huge shift in friction, removing that huge wall between the idea and the actual thing.
That's the promise. Groundbreaking velocity, they call it.
But let's dig into the engineering a bit. 30 seconds. Spinning up servers, databases, CDNs for global delivery, security, all automated. How does it handle things like multi-region deployment for low latency? That's complex stuff.
Right, and that's where the Web4 architecture from Linkspreed comes in. According to the sources, it's not just firing up one big server, it's using a highly advanced, pre-optimized microservices architecture.
Microservices.
Okay, so instead of coding everything from scratch, the AI acts like a conductor. It has this massive library of pre-built, containerized components, database modules, caching layers, application servers, you name it.
And the prompt tells it which ones to grab.
Precisely. It selects, configures, and deploys only the necessary pre-hardened components simultaneously across different cloud regions, aiming for that low latency.
Ah, so it's pre-optimization. The system isn't writing configuration files on the fly. It's executing a pre-tested playbook based on the prompt.
Exactly. It's not waiting for manual database tuning. It launches a cluster already designed for rapid scaling. That's how they achieve that global scalability claim right out of the gate.
And that speed is only useful if the user experience is fast too. Which brings us to the interface. the simplicity.
Absolutely critical, because if setting it up still took hours of fiddling with complex screens, the 30-second build wouldn't mean much.
So the interface itself is designed to be simple.
Radically simple. That's the term used. 0 lines of code needed. 0 technical expertise. 0 complex config screens. It's about abstracting away all that complexity.
Which isn't just a feature you're saying. It's core to the Web4 philosophy.
Seems so. The idea is to liberate the founder. Let them focus immediately on the community itself, the culture, the purpose, moderation, how it's going to sustain itself, not wrestling with SQL or APIs.
So the technical complexity is still there, obviously, but it's hidden, made invisible to the user.
Rendered invisible, yeah. The interface itself is described as intuitive, clean, logical, feature-forward, focused on the outcome, not the technical journey.
It sounds like they learned from maybe some earlier decentralized attempts. Web3 tools were powerful, but often tricky to use.
That seems likely. If you need a computer science degree to use the tool, you haven't really democratized anything, have you? You've just created new gatekeepers.
Good point.
So this single prompt interface, the simplicity, is meant to be the bridge, connecting ultimate power owning your platform with actual usability for almost anyone.
Okay, let's talk about that bridge then, the core mechanism, that single AI prompt. How does one sentence, just a description, translate into a full-blown platform?
It's the linchpin of the whole system.
We need to think of it less like a suggestion and more like a command for a synthesis engine.
Right. It has to interpret everything the audience, the features needed, maybe even the feel or aesthetic, and then automatically build the architecture. The sources stress its ability to pick up on nuances.
Nuances. To build something perfectly tailored. That implies a very sophisticated AI.
Immense sophistication in that translation layer, taking natural language and pulling out functional requirements, compliance needs, security standards, design parameters, all from one sentence.
Going from an abstract idea straight to deployable code modules.
Let's make it concrete. The sources give a specific, fairly complex example.
Okay, good. Let's hear it.
The goal: create an exclusive platform for professional landscape photographers. Big focus on sustainable art. And critically, it needs built-in features to offer and sell online courses.
Wow. So that's specialized, it's commercial, it's educational, and social all at once. Not a simple blog.
Not at all. And the prompt suggested in the material to achieve this.
What is it?
It's this. Create a sophisticated, mobile-first social platform for professional landscape photographers, featuring a private gallery system, integrated payment gateways for online courses, and a geographically filtered job board.
Okay. Sophisticated, mobile-first, private gallery, integrated payments, geo-filtered job board. That's a lot packed into one sentence.
It really is. If you gave that sentence to a standard development team, they'd come back with pages of questions, right? Architecture, security, APIs.
Instantly.
But the AI has to process it all. Sophisticated implies high-end UI UX. Mobile first means responsive design. Private gallery needs access control, encryption, integrated payments. Well, that's PCI compliant, secure API links.
And the geographically filtered job board, wait a minute, that sounds really complex. Real-time GIS data, fast searching across different locations. That usually needs a lot of manual setup and tuning. Does the 30-second thing still hold?
That's where, again, the pre-optimized microservices come in. The AI isn't writing the GIS integration code from scratch. It's deploying a pre-built, pre-configured service component designed for geospatial filtering.
Ah, okay. So the hard work, the database indexing, the server placement, the query optimization, it's already baked into that component.
That's the idea. The AI just plugs it into the architecture. It's assembling and configuring components, not writing procedures. It translates the intent geo-filtered job board into the command to deploy and link the right service container. And that linking and configuration is part of the 30 seconds.
Like a high-speed assembly line for software components.
A good analogy, yeah.
Okay, so let's break down what the AI actually does in those 30 seconds. The sources list 4 key actions. This is really the heart of the Web4 claim.
Let's walk through them.
First, instant infrastructure provisioning. We touched on the speed, but it's also about the quality of the foundation, right? Setting up back-end, front-end, database, but optimized for global scalability from the start.
Yes, and that's a huge difference from the old way. You wouldn't build for 1,000 users and then panic at 10,000, needing a massive, costly rebuild.
Right.
This system, by optimizing for global scale instantly, deploys a redundant multi-region setup. So Traffic from Asia might hit servers in Asia for speed, even if the main database is elsewhere. The AI handles that load balancing and data replication automatically.
So it eliminates that scaling bottleneck before it even starts.
Supposedly, yes. Being ready for growth from second one.
Okay, second action. Modular function mapping. Using our photographer example, the AI integrates those specific complex modules we asked for, the private gallery, the payment gateway, the job board.
Right, and think about just the payment gateway part.
Oh, that's normally a headache.
Yeah.
API keys, security tokens, logging, compliance with financial rules.
All that. The AI integrates the module, which the sources imply is already hardened and compliant with things like PCI DSS, without the user needing to touch any of that technical stuff.
It handles the complexity internally.
Exactly. The AI maps the request, integrated payment gateways, to the right module and makes sure it talks correctly to the front end and the database. It's high-level assembly, not low-level integration work for the user.
Okay, third action. Responsive design and branding. It applies a beautiful, intuitive design instantly, making sure it looks good and works well on phones, tablets, desktops.
Which is crucial for credibility, isn't it? If it looks clunky or old, people just won't stick around.
No matter how good the tech is underneath.
So the AI acts like a UI/UX lead. It picks a suitable template, sophisticated, professional for our photographers, and applies it consistently. And responsive design isn't trivial. It needs complex adjustments for different screen sizes.
Ensuring it works, whether you're at your desk or on your phone out in the field.
Instantly handled. Aesthetic cohesion and device compatibility done.
And the fourth action. Initial content and structure. It doesn't just give you an empty shell. It pre-populates some basics.
Yeah, things like foundational channels or groups, maybe even basic terms of service.
So for the photographers, it might create channels like ethical practices, course news, gear talk, a job board group.
Exactly. It gives the owner an immediate framework. So the first members arrive and see structure, purpose, not just a blank screen.
That helps overcome that initial inertia, that empty room problem communities often face.
Hugely. It accelerates the time to value. The leader can go straight from launch to onboarding members and curating content, focusing on the human side, the conversations. Okay, so we've established the speed. It's impressive, potentially game-changing. But now we really need to shift focus to the why, the philosophy behind Web4. And that boils down to two words: sovereignty and control.
Right. This is about more than just building fast.
Much more. We need to be clear on terms. Web 2.0, that's centralized platforms. Web 3 often focused on decentralization via ledgers, sometimes sacrificing usability. Web 4, as the sources describe it, is about creating your own independent, high-performance, sovereign node.
Sovereign node. What does that mean practically?
It means a full-stack deployment, where you, the founder, retain absolute non-revocable control. Over the architecture, the rules, the data, you're not a tenant anymore.
You're the owner and the host, the undisputed authority. That really is the key difference, isn't it? Solving that dependency problem.
Exactly. When that platform launches in 30 seconds, you haven't just rented space. You've deployed your own operable instance of the Linkspreed architecture. Your rules apply. And this sovereignty shows up in 4 key freedoms.
Okay, let's unpack those. The first one tackles a major frustration with existing platforms: freedom from algorithmic manipulation.
Yeah, the endless scrolling through content prioritized by who knows what, usually whatever keeps you hooked for ads.
Engagement optimized, often meaning outrage or trends, not necessarily what the community values.
Right, Web4 aims to discard that. The sources say the goal is for members to see content based on relevance, community input, free from those opaque manipulative filters.
So what does that look like? Just a chronological feed? Or something else?
It could be chronological. Or perhaps more powerfully, a ranking system where the rules, the weighting criteria are transparent, maybe even set by the platform owner or the community itself.
Wait, so the owner could decide to prioritize, say, educational posts over just flashy photos in our photographer example.
That's the implication. That level of control over how information flows, it changes the whole feel of the place. It aligns the platform's function with the community's actual mission.
Rebuilding trust, maybe? The platform becomes a tool again,
Not an invisible behavioral engine, exactly. For the photographers, quality art could genuinely rise above noise because the owner set the algorithm that way. That's a technical guarantee of purpose alignment.
Okay, so that's freedom one. What about the others? You mentioned operational and financial viability.
Yes. The second freedom is the power to set the rules. Your sovereign node, your rules, content policies, moderation, operational procedures, all dictated by you.
Which is essential for niche groups, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about those photographers again. Maybe they have really strict environmental ethics they want members to adhere to.
Hard to enforce on a generic platform with generic terms of service.
Almost impossible. But on their own node, they can write and enforce terms of service that perfectly match their values, creating a safe, specific space. That's self-determination online.
Makes sense. And the third freedom, monetization freedom. This tackles the platform tax issue.
Precisely. Web 2.0 platforms often act like gatekeepers, taking huge cuts, 30% sometimes, from creators selling courses, content, subscriptions.
Yeah, that stings.
With Web 4 and Linkspreed, the idea is you choose any business model you want. Subscriptions, ads if you want them, paywall content, merchandise, whatever. Without those punitive platform fees.
So the revenue reflects the value you create, not the platform's toll booth.
Exactly. If our photographer sells a $500 course, they keep the $500 minus standard payment processing, presumably. It makes these specialized communities actually economically viable as businesses, not just hobbies.
That's a massive economic shift. Okay, and the final piece, crucially, data ownership and privacy.
This hits the core ethical problem of the old model, doesn't it?
Where the user was the product, their data sold off.
Right. The sources are explicit here. In the Web 4 architecture, member data is protected. It's used only to benefit the members, not third-party advertisers.
How is that enforced architecturally?
It has to be a design philosophy baked in from the start. The sovereign node isn't built as a data harvesting machine. If data is used maybe to improve those job board results or suggest relevant courses, it's done internally, hopefully in a privacy-respecting way, solely to make the community experience better.
So the data is treated as a community asset, not a commodity.
That's the promise.
Yeah.
Building trust, cultivating loyalty, guaranteeing privacy and utility without selling people out. That's maybe the biggest technical and ethical challenge, and what Web 4 aims to solve.
Okay, so the 30-second launch gives you the foundation, the sovereign node. But obviously, just launching isn't enough. The community needs to grow to thrive.
Right, the building is just step one. Exactly. And that's where the broader Linkspreed ecosystem comes in, providing tools for what happens next. First up is tribemaker.space.
Tribemaker.space. What's its role?
It's positioned as the place for cultivating the tribe. The AI handles the build. TribeMaker is about the human element, nurturing, engagement, managing the community day to day.
So this is like the community manager's dashboard. Tools for moderation, seeing engagement analytics, fostering interaction, maybe recognizing key members.
That seems to be the focus, shifting the work from managing code, which the AI did, to managing connection, purpose, loyalty.
It's as if the tech barrier is gone. The real differentiator becomes the quality of the community culture you build.
Precisely. TribeMaker.space is meant to provide the tools to manage that culture effectively. The sources point to TribeMaker.space as the starting point for that cultivation work.
Okay. And there's a second brand mentioned.
Yes, Web4.community. This serves a different purpose. It's described as the ideological and technological home of this whole movement.
So less about day-to-day management, more about understanding the bigger picture.
Exactly. If you've launched your node and you want to grasp the implications of Web4, the philosophy behind it, the architectural principles, Web4.community is positioned as that resource.
The why behind the how. The blueprint for this digital future they're proposing.
Right. Helping owners understand how their sovereign node fits into this broader shift towards digital independence, new models of ownership, a potentially freer internet, moving from features to philosophy.
And the call to action there is to explore Web4.community.
Correct. Hashtag TaxShack outro.
So we've really dug into this. It's quite the engineering picture painted by our sources. For you, the listener, the creator, the entrepreneur, what this seems to mean is that those old barriers, the technical hurdles to building your own bespoke global digital home, they might just be gone.
Architecturally eliminated is the claim.
Yeah. The complexity that took teams months or years, potentially handled by an AI in seconds. It feels revolutionary, architecturally speaking. Deliver not just speed, but crucially, that promise of absolute control. Sovereignty. A space where your community can genuinely flourish on its own terms, free from outside manipulation or extraction.
And if you boil it down, it's that combination, isn't it? The astonishing simplicity, the single AI prompt paired with ultimate freedom, the sovereignty, the rule setting, the data ownership.
Technical friction reduced to near zero.
Which puts the spotlight squarely back on the human element, the purpose, the culture, the connection. That's where the focus has to be now. It seems like a truly optimized path to building a sustainable, purpose-driven community.
Okay, so building on that, let's leave you with a final thought, a question to mull over. If the technical challenge of launching a global professional community platform really is dropping to near zero,
If anyone can build the stadium in 30 seconds.
right, then what becomes the single most defining factor separating the communities that thrive, that have real purpose and longevity, from those that launch fast, but then just fizzle out?
It can't be the tech anymore, can it? Not the code, not the server capacity, not even the initial funding for development, perhaps.
What is it?
It has to be leadership, doesn't it? Vision. The actual hard work of nurturing the tribe, reinforcing shared values, fostering genuine connection. The technical problem might be solved, or close to it, but the human problem,
That's where the real work begins.
that's where it truly begins.